Greetings to episode 2 of ArtBeats with Studio.t. I'm your host Gailani, bringing you everything about the art world here in Oman. Today we have a unique artist who is an Omani talent who walks to her own beat. She's not only a painter, but she's also a curator, has curated for Beit Muzna Gallery, has curated for Gallery Sarah, and has curated for Beit al-Zubair Museum, and has also been sponsored by a local gallery to go and view the Venice Bonelli from a curator's point of view. A graduate of the Cardiff Metropolitan University in the UK in Fine Arts, and a diploma holder of curation for galleries and museums from the University of London. She is amazing in her mediums of painting to collage to installation, and she paints about different cultural identities, and recently has been doing an amazing collection during the COVID crisis. So let's meet her, Miss Farah Asqul. Welcome, Farah, to our second episode.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's brilliant to be in this amazing setup of your home with your art in the background and your art studio upstairs. It really is a visual treat. What defines your creative aesthetic? Tell me.
What defines my creative aesthetic? Well, in my home or with my work?
Both, actually.
Both. So I clearly have, a color palette that I'm drawn to that you can see in my artwork.
So there's a lot of turquoise, there's a lot of purple.
And some of them I'm trying to move away from those colors. But I love every type of art, every kind of medium. So I work with a lot of different mediums, and I think my aesthetic is defined by happy chaos.
I actually wanted to talk to you about the different genres of art that you do. You go from collage to installations to painting, and you have different techniques. So it's amazing to see you switch from one to the other. How are you able to do that?
So I think with any different subject, when I come to express a different subject, I do it through the medium as well. So I feel like my mediums are chosen according to the subject matter, it's fun to be able to go from painting to, even sculpture I've tried recently. It brings out, something else, a different spirit for each subject.
And let's walk our viewers through some of your art and the techniques that you've chosen so it really gives them the taste of what I'm talking about, because it's a visual feast, and everybody should experience it.
Yeah.
Farah, ever since I walked into your lovely house, I've been drawn to this piece. It is so amazing with this big slab and people and human flesh. Really, it's fascinating. Why don't you tell our viewers what inspired you?
So what inspired me in this piece is in university I was exploring life drawing and the figure, and I had done hundreds of life drawings, and this is kind of a culmination of them all put together, but also I made sculptures of human figures and I have them in my studio, and I used to use them in many of my artworks.
And so what does this signify, all of these people?
So these are actually people, for me it kind of represents after a party, and they're just kind of relaxing and
so it's an after party.
Yeah, it is. It's like an after party. People are sleeping.
I think everybody wants to be at this after party. So.
It can be a bit scary to some people, but that wasn't the intention.
That's really what we want to know. We want to get inside the artist's mind and see what sort of an after party they are coming up with. Let's go on to your next piece. Wow, Farah, this is something really unique, because this is deceptively a very simple painting, but my artist eye tells that there's a lot of material here. Can you walk us through these two?
So this piece has many layers to it actually. It's actually an old painting that I reworked several times. So with this stenciling series, I've done quite a lot of them. And what I do is I work on the ground. I start on the ground and I kind of throw the water, ink, paint onto it. I mix acrylic paint and I leave it to dry for sometimes up to like 10 days.
Wow.
And then I keep working over it. So this stencil is something that I cut myself and I've worked with it a bit like pop art where you can keep reusing the stencil.
Absolutely, because I want to talk about your stencil a bit later on. But the ink and then the different stuff, I mean, you've got spray paint, you've got ink, you've got watercolor,
Yeah, we shouldn't limit ourselves.
Yeah.
I think whatever we've got in the studio, throw it on. You never know what's going to happen.
And that's, I think, a key to our viewers watching, is that we could really mix all different mediums and not really restrict ourselves to any one.
Exactly.
Farah, I'm really intrigued by these two figures. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
So this is actually from the same series
The after party.
of the, exactly.
Okay, so from the after party, where have we come to?
So this is the family now.
Okay.
And,
They're having a discussion.
they're having a feast actually. There's
Wow.
actually a bowl here and they're chowing down in the garden.
Wow, very unique.
It's up for interpretation, you know.
And what about here, right here?
This is actually supposed to be an uncomfortable situation.
Oh, I know quite a few of those in a lot of families.
Yeah, it can either be family or friends or, you know, a couple. One's looking away and one's kind of looking at them.
As I would say, welcome to my life of uncomfortable situations.
So again, it's up for interpretation. Everyone views things differently.
Right.
Yeah.
I love them. It's such a different take.
Thank you.
Really fascinating body of work. Okay, now this has caught my attention. I love this. Walk me a little bit about this face.
So this is actually a memory of my husband's face. But
Okay.
it's not actually him. It's more of, these pieces are more fun pieces for me to do. Very expressionist, very, you know, losing control.
I love that. And there's so many different, different elements used. Can you talk us? I see some charcoal, I see some pastel.
So this is acrylic paint, but I also, you know, water it down quite a bit to create these drippy parts.
Yes.
And then I accentuated everything by using a bit of charcoal. As I said, you know, it's nice to use a bit of
Everything
whatever
there.
you can find, you know.
Wow. And what I love is that, as you said, it's a memory, but represented so unique. And what I really want viewers to take that is, as an artist, if you have to stand out, you have to be unique. You have to be
100%.
memorable. And that is memorable. Okay, Farah, so you have to show me where the headquarters of your creativity really happens. I want to see where the magic happens.
Let's go.
Okay, let's see. Wow, look at this. It's really such stimulus. Oh my God. Okay, so this is really your studio and your office. This is where the thought process happens. I want all the viewers to really get a sense of what I'm seeing and the stimulus. So we've got this area, we've got some stuff here, we've got collage here, we've got stencil work over there, you've got another series of collage and these beautiful large paintings. So Farah, it's over to you. Walk us through your studio.
So like I said, I work with different mediums and that entails using different spaces. So when I'm doing collages, I use the large table usually. As you can see, I have tons of images that I collect and
So
work
these
with.
are reference images that you have over here.
Yeah.
So when you're working on a project, you just pick them up from there.
Yeah, I can paint from them, I can collage them. A lot of them are actually really old photos that my father took that I'm using as well. Yeah. And then over here we've got, this is during our first COVID lockdowns, which was about, 1 year ago now, where I started to actually put myself into situations.
And this is all watercolor.
It's all watercolor. So suddenly I found myself, actually, I did quite a few of the first ones across the dining table from my husband, who suddenly had to work at home. So I, stopped painting these massive things and wanted to, work next to him. So I had to do everything really small.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this space.
This is more of like my office space, research. I sit here with my laptop and do a lot of work.
As you can all see, there's a great scrapbook of ideas
Lots, and a lot of lots of sketchbooks. I'm a collector of images, so this is where I work on larger pieces. And I mean, usually when I do something like this is actually a self-portrait. When I do something like this, I'm painting for myself.
Okay.
I'm not painting for a gallery or for an audience. I don't care what anyone thinks. I will do as I like.
And I think one is so creative when there's total abandonment of the end result.
Yeah, we're so, worried about what people might think about, is this too much for someone? Is it too little? Is it, so sometimes you just have to lose all those inhibitions and work from that. So I started, just looking at the situation that we were all in. This one is called Cleaning the Shopping, which was something I'd never had to do before in my life. So just, all these new experiences, learning how to cut my husband's hair, cooking a lot, shopping with the mask on, and then of course,
Netflix.
This one is called Netflix and Chips Oman instead of chilling. This was actually a commission I worked on for a company that's producing masks now. So this was produced for their logo. So always small projects that pop up here and there. This one is called Insomnia, and this is called Zoom. And we all became avid gardeners during lockdown. And yoga, cuddles, lots of self-searching.
Okay, Farah, so as we wrap up, I'd just like to ask a few parting questions for the youth out there watching and the young at heart. I really want to know about what are the global trends in art right now that one needs to watch out for.
Well, trends in the Arab art market, they're very fluctuating at the moment, and we've seen, a whole different, side of things now with all of the art fairs suddenly being online. How are we going to follow the trends? How are we going to visit these artworks in person? How are they going to, make sales?
Which really is interesting. Do we all go online, or do you think we are going to go back to in-person exhibitions? And should somebody go online as an artist submit? Because
Definitely.
It takes away, doesn't it take away the personal connection to the painting?
Totally, but I think if someone's going to see something online that they like, the more exposure for us, the better, to be on every kind of channel that you don't know where someone's going to come across your work. So being out there is the best thing. And if someone's going to buy from you, they should contact you. They should come into your studio. They shouldn't just go ahead and buy one paint. Do your research, into the artist. What have they sold before? What are their other works? I always look for an artist that has continuation and growth in their work.
Great, and you brought in my next question, which was about the social media. in this restrictive time where people are not able to go to galleries or exhibit at galleries, the trend of artists going onto social media, how does one go about it? Should you do too much of it? What should you post? How should you curate your social media pages?
So I'm actually not very good at curating social media pages. I kind of, it's a bit like my artwork, it's kind of all over the place, whereas people like to see the steady flow of things that are very cohesive with each other. I think it's so important. Whatever you're, of course, make content that has, something substantial in it. We don't want to see artists that are constantly posting 100 selfies a day, because that's not what we're following them for. We're following them for, their artwork, their experiences, and seeing the world through their eyes.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure to having you. Thank you for being
Thank you for coming.
guest.
Thank you and the whole team.
That's a wrap for this episode of ArtBeats with Studio.t. I'm your host Gailani, signing off, and keep watching for who we bring next in the art world of Oman.